We were, yes. And we're recording now. So good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to you all. And tonight is a very, very special call because tonight is our preliminary last Zoom call before the conference in Birmingham. And tonight our whole focus is on the logistics of the conference, what the agenda is, how to get the most out of it, the secret hidden elements of the conference that you need to watch out for. And just making sure that everybody knows exactly what is going on. So in my mind, this is the most exciting conference that we will have ever had in the UK. And from the text that we had from Simon today from the office, the growth just continues to be absolutely outstanding. I was talking to some people today, and I was sitting having lunch with them, and they're from Nigeria. And I said, look, history is in the making here. We are making history as a company. No one has done what we're doing now. And I don't see any stop to it. So we are in the midst of a really extraordinary phenomenon. And Birmingham is going to be a fantastic illustration of a company that is on fire. So if you've got a ticket, they're like gold dust now, and we're going to have an amazing time. So we're going to address a number of different points tonight, and by the end of the call you will be fully prepared and know everything you need to know about what's coming up in Birmingham to make sure you get the absolute most from the event. And we're also going to announce something towards the end of the call whereby everybody can feel connected throughout the conference. So all of us can feel connected together throughout the conference wherever you are, and you can also always find out what is going on and interact with people so you don't in any way feel lost or disconnected at any time. Okay, so let's just get straight into it. And I'm just going to ask various different people different questions, and you'll be very pleased to know they are pre-prepared with their questions and their answers. So, Michelle, are you there? The wonderful Michelle Johns.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Michelle. Now, Michelle, you are a national marketing director. You are hugely successful in our business. And here you are embarking on another conference. So just tell us, what is the buzz and the energy of the conferences all about, and what do you most enjoy about them?
Great questions, James. Sometimes I think it's really hard to convey that buzz, that energy, because you have to be there to really feel and to experience it. But if you can just imagine, almost 3,000 people, and really like-minded people that are open-minded, that all want to learn more. We all want to know how to be as successful as we possibly can. And that, you almost, it's intangible. You have to be there to really feel it. You're learning from the best. I would say that there will always be somebody on stage that you'll relate to, perhaps more than others. There'll be somebody that totally inspires you. And I think, this business is really, it's completely a level playing field, if you like, because it doesn't matter what your background is, it doesn't matter what your education is. It's really there for us to see huge vision, regardless of whatever you've done before. So I think this conference, as in all big conferences, creates a vision. It shows you the big picture. And it wasn't until I went to my first big conference, which happened to be in Wiesbaden in Germany, that I actually understood the value of the opportunity and really see this vision that would give me an opportunity to live the life I love. And it's certainly done that. But I think the conferences will actually show you really what's available for each and every one.
Thank you, Michelle. That's amazing, because here you are after all this time with so much enthusiasm, and you're really putting it across perfectly about what we're going to see there and how everybody is effectively going to connect with someone at least, but we hope that everyone will connect with a lot of people. So.
Yeah. And I think you said also again, what do I enjoy most? And I think that's connecting with everybody, not just obviously the team, because that's really fantastic. And for us, my big highlight, I think, is always the team dinner. But it's always a chance for everybody else to connect with, not only your own team, but for other people, and to talk to the people that you've heard on stage. Ask them. You've got an opportunity to find out what they've done, find out what their DMO is. The person that you relate to most is the person that you'll find that you can copy, basically. You do what they're doing, and without a doubt, you'll be successful.
Fantastic. Great. Well, I mean, that is just such an amazing gold dust piece of advice that really we should be connecting with everyone and not obviously just our team.
Absolutely. And I think the other thing to say is it's that you need to take that, persistent, consistent action. There's no point going to the conference if you're not going to put into action what you've heard. I mean, that's the main thing, that you actually come back and share that information. Yeah,
and of course the key thing about that is to take notes. So that's really, really important, but we'll come on to that later. Michelle, thank you. That was absolutely superb. So just moving just to the left, just next to you now. Gordon, we were talking about the agenda earlier, and you said to me, "Oh, James, it's been out for 2 weeks, don't you know?" Anyway, can you tell us a little bit about the agenda and also the particular highlights of the agenda that you sort of see, and also what's the theme of the party on the Saturday night?
Okay, James, and thanks very much for kind of asking me to do that. This is probably, I worked it out, this is my 67th conference since I've been in the business. And, in terms of the actual agenda for the conference, I've got to say it's one of the most exciting I've ever been on. And I'm excited because I think the contribution that we as a team are actually providing for the actual conference, and that's something I think the longevity of the Aquila team and everyone associated with it is kind of second to none. As you all know, the conference kicks off at 1:30 on Friday the 26th, and it starts by our very own Nigel Eccles giving the introduction, and he talks about nutrition versus aging. And I mean, no better man to speak about it. And Michelle and I, we will tell the story that, we've both been to his anti-aging clinics. We're 106 years old, really. But he's going to be kicking off the conference. I think it sets the scene. We're obviously, the kind of theme for the first kind of like half day is the healthcare professionals. He's going to be followed up by Manfred Lamprecht, who's the international kind of scientific officer for Europe, and he's going to probably be giving us more updates about the different scientific studies, which as a team, it's great to hear the efficacy that Juice Plus have actually gone and kind of, invested their money in terms of these scientific studies. We've then got our very own James Knight, who's going to be talking and hosting a panel with performance athletes, and I'm not quite sure who's on the panel. Maybe James will allude to that as he goes along. But the fact that we've been asked as a team to provide these kind of people because they're seen as experts in their field, and I can think of nobody better to represent the performance, if you like, health industry as James Knight. So that's brilliant. And then, the close of the conference on the first day, we're going to hear from Dan Holtzman, which for me is always a great highlight, because I think as a person, he's an inspiration. As a person, he's very successful, and he's got a great vision for where the company is going. And I always chalk that down as one of the highlights for myself. The next day, the meeting starts again with, we can't pack all the healthcare professionals in, but we've got Mitra Ray coming on first thing. And she, believe it, but she told me that she's got a brand new talk all about who should eat. So that'll be very interesting to hear that. Not who you should eat, but who should eat. And then we've got another panel with healthcare professionals hosted by Emma Buckley. And then, what did I say, Jay Martin. We're going to get Jay Martin as our kind of founder and CEO. And his words are always fantastic just to hear, the words of wisdom. I mean, as I said, 63 conferences over the last 25 years. I've watched him over the last period of time, and created that vision for myself and for us all here, really. That's then going to finish in the morning with Jeff Roberti. What could I say? $90 million in 28 years in the business. That speaks for itself. You know, he's a legend in the network marketing industry. And again, whatever he says, you know, are kind of gold drops in terms of information. The afternoon, I'm looking forward particularly to Sven Goebbels' kind of presentation. Hopefully I've heard it before, that it's the one he's going to be talking about the 7 transformational paradigms, which are really all to do about, you know, what's actually moving our business forward, the things that are coming together to really effuse it and to create this massive movement that we've seen along the way. And then we've got our very own James Sanderson, and he's going to be kind of hosting the Legends panel, coming out in Zimmer frames and wheelchairs and all sorts of mechanical devices. So we're talking to people that have been in the business that have a cumulative experience of 250 years. So I'm particularly looking forward to that. Sadly, I'm one of these people, and I'm not in the frame. I'm going to be doing backward somersaults and, you know, things like that. But that's going to be a highlight for me. And then, you know, we're going to hear somebody towards the end. You know, we've heard from that Susie Mitchell is now being promoted to the position of corporate advisor. She's the kind of development manager within the office, and she's going to be talking about what's going to happen in terms of the developments within Juice Plus. So I'm interested to hear that and see what's going on there. We then move towards the end of the conference. We're going to be talking Gordon Hester, and Michelle mentioned about holding that vision. It's holding that vision and trusting the process. That's what he's going to be talking about. And I think, you know, that's one of the highlights. Anybody that hasn't heard Gordon Hester, he is Jeff Roberti's financial advisor. And on the Thursday before the conference, he's going to be talking to the national marketing directors about how, roughly about 10 years ago, he took Jeff Roberti's monthly income and basically reinvested that monthly income. And several years later, I think it was 4 years later, he reproduced the same monthly income on an outside source. So that man is an absolute guru in terms of the finance, and what he says in terms of the vision, I'm always keen to learn. And then the whole conference wraps up with Sinead Kavanagh, and you know, I've got a tremendous kind of rapport and respect for Sinead Kavanagh. She's come from an amazing kind of background. I mean, you know, lots of people have done it different ways. It hasn't been the same as we've done it, etc. But she's actually just last month broken the £1 million in pay line a month. And I believe she's destined to be the #1 earner in Europe without a shadow of a doubt. So I'm interested to hear what she's got to say. The party you mentioned quickly afterwards, well, you know, all the Juice Pluses love a party. We love a party. Get your kind of glam dresses on, ladies. Get your kind of that's Saturday night, yeah? Get your kind of dresses on Saturday night, and that's going to be very exciting. I believe that company have invested some money. They're going to have Circus Soleil acts. So Dan, you don't have to put your leotard on and jump up and down. Don't worry about that. They're going to have some special acts in for that. And James, you don't have to do your break dancing. Don't worry. You know, they're going to get somebody to do something.
Okay, brilliant.
We're going to talk about that later. So I'm excited about the conference and the agenda and obviously the party. And I'll come back and talk about the team dinner later on, James.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, well done. No, that's absolutely fantastic. And I totally agree with you. It is the most exciting agenda that I can ever remember, because not only, now this is the huge difference now that we've got. In the past, we just had the science, right? And we had everything that we were talking to people about how successful the product was. But now we've got the business to accompany it. And that is the big difference. So we've now got people who are breaking through £1 million turnover a month. We've got the people now who are earning £1 million in just 3 years. So it's very, very exciting. All right, so let's move on now. And Sue Worrell, are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah, brilliant. Now, Sue, again, you've been to so many different conferences, and of course that has fueled so much of your success. But just take us through arriving at the conference. What is the procedure for getting in? What can we expect to see in the entry area? You know, what sort of time should we be there? to make sure we get a good seat. So take us through the arrival procedure, please.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for asking me. I think you ought to start the night before, really, and get in touch with anybody that you're going up with. If you're giving lifts, etc., be a bit organised and make sure that everybody's picked up on time, because it's going to be such an exciting start. And the minute you set foot in that building, with all the logos and the staging that will be there, it's going to be exciting from word go. So get yourselves organised. The actual registration starts from 10:30 now, and Simon told me they are aiming to have no queuing like they've had in the past, everybody arriving together. So get yourselves in there and register, even before you go into your hotel if you can. Go and register, get your packs, get your things ready. And one tip is that if you have a ticket that you've passed on to somebody else, just give the office a quick ring or an email and ask them to change the name on it. That will stop any hold-ups on the desk, and they are asking to do that if you can. Even last minute, just ask them and get the right name on the ticket, and that will make a difference. So then try and sit with your team. I think it is going to be exciting. I can't believe the agenda. I am so excited about it. I've been to the American conferences, and they're amazing. Sacramento was amazing, but they haven't had an agenda like this. This agenda is outstanding. And we've got to be so proud to be part of Aquila and Team Dragon and the other teams in your group down, because we've got a lot of these outstanding people are part of our team. And I understand they'll be in our team dinner as well, quite a few of them. So that is mega exciting. So registration starts at 10:30. Get in there, register early, get there on time. If you're going to go and look at the merchandise, fine, but make sure you've got all your team together, make sure you know where they are, sit together, take notes, mega important, as I said earlier, take notes on everything and really soak it all up and enjoy it.
Okay, fantastic, Sue. That's amazing and wonderful tips there. I thank you very much. You've obviously done a lot of good homework on that and really appreciate that. So thank you very, very much. Right, so we're now going to turn back to Gordon. So Gordon, let me just ask you, as an experienced person, you've been to 67 conferences. I want to ask you, what are some of the key hidden things from your experience we should be focused on at the conference to get the most out of it? What would you say are the things that people should be focused on that might not be immediately obvious to them?
One of the things that I think is great advice that I was given very, very early on when I went to kind of one of my first conferences was that we should all go there as a pupil. So I know it's been mentioned, let's take some notes, but we take notes as a teacher, not as a pupil. Because what we need to be able to do, and Michelle mentioned this, we need to kind of go on and teach this to our people there afterwards. So, a notepad, anybody that you see in here that you feel that could actually kind of enhance your own business, go and network with them, get out there. And, we're all kind of like network, if you like, experts and professionals. So let's put that kind of task into motion and make sure that we keep on networking with the right people. I see a lot of people sometimes go to conferences and they're hanging out in the coffee bar or they're hanging out kind of, in the bar. Unfortunately, that's not where the business is done. It's done in the room and it's done with your people that you bring along as guests. And, what we're Monday, the conference starts on Friday. It's still not too late to get people there, and I'm still working on getting people. Even if I've got one ticket left, I've split it in between two ways, and I'm actually giving people an opportunity to come on a Friday afternoon and on a Saturday. If they don't want to stay for the conference, they can come for 2 half days.
Thank you very much. Now, I'm going to add something there as well, right, about the conference and the hidden element of the conference, and that is that the key thing. Now, so often people are looking at the stage. Yeah, and saying, well, this is where all the information is going to come from the stage. But in reality, the really amazing information will come from the fellow participants. So when we're there, and particularly when we're there with guests, it's very, very important. And this is what I always do. I'm always looking around to see who I can introduce my guests to. Who can I invite to give my guest their story. You know, who can I introduce them to? Because it's this introduction process which really, really helps people enormously, because it connects them with the whole event. So it's not just you sitting there, a group of you in the row thinking, oh, I wonder who's on stage next. No, be thinking, oh, who's down the row there? Who's down the row there? Who's over there? And sometimes I'm darting off to fight to get someone, to bring them over, to introduce them. So I think, to my mind, that's a very, very important element of it. All right, so let's now move back to you, Michelle. And so, Michelle, obviously, it's quite a thing, this. We're there, we're listening, we're sitting in the hall. You know, we need to keep our energy up to make sure we've got the full level of concentration. What would be your advice to people to make sure that everybody are really able to concentrate throughout these 2 days?
Okay. All right, then, don't get too wrecked the night before. Obviously, but don't get completely and utterly, because I've known people that have gone out and enjoyed themselves so much they've not actually managed to get there the next day for the actual conference. So that's sort of, you know, be sensible about it. But really, have lots of water with you. Stay well hydrated, obviously. If you feel that you want to have a couple of snacks with you, things like nuts, seeds, fruit, obviously complete bars are absolutely perfect. During the conference, I always double up on my capsules, so keep your capsules handy so you can double or triple up if you need to, if you have overindulged the night before. And yeah, you know, gummies are always handy. So just be prepared. And I think, you know, I know I've had some people say to me about lunch, where, you know, where are they going to have lunch, or can they bring a packed lunch? You know, there are lots and lots of restaurants there that, you know, for break time, but they do tend to be busy. So I know some people are still following their T30 and whatever. So if you want to take your own vegan food with you, that's acceptable as well. So kind of just, you know, just be sensible, have what you need, but definitely plenty of water.
Good. Okay, that's absolutely great. So just moving on now. Thank you, Michelle. That's really, really helpful. So Gordon, just tell us a little bit now about the arrangements for the team dinner. Tell us all about this, where it's going to be and everything, how people are going to be able to get there, etc.
Yeah. Okay, so the team dinner is at the Radisson Blu Hotel, which starts at 7:30 for an 8 o'clock start. So there'll be a cash bar when you arrive. I believe it's on the 2nd floor. And we posted the address on the Team Aquila page and the Team Dragon page, so it's all on there. I think it's just by the roundabout down from the conference centre. It's not very far away at all. Walking distance. It's a 5-minute taxi drive if you're going to come by taxi. We're very, very privileged to kind of have some amazing VIP guests. We have got included, I've confirmed, we've got Doug and Mitra Riggs, we've got John and Chris Blair, we've got Manfred and Sabine Lamprat, oh, bless you, we've got Nigel Eccles. I'm not saying too much, but we may even have another guest kind of appearance. And this guy's the top dog. I'm not going to say too much about that. But we're going to be able to have a chance to, again, network with people. We'll make sure that the VIP guests are spread around the room. And, you know, when we actually have the seating, we'll get a chance to kind of move around the room. We'll probably have a chance to get to chat to them. We'll maybe hear from 1 or 2 of them who might kind of speak. We're going to have a buffet, a 2-course buffet dinner, which includes wine, which is going to be subsidised from James, myself, and Bob and Sue. And of course, Bob and Sue are going to be there. And you know, they're veterans of 28, 29 years conference. And you know, they're going to be fantastic value to speak to as well. And they're going to feature on the Legends, the Legends, I should say, panel. So, you know, the team dinner I'm looking forward to. It's always a good night, and it's a chance to network with people. If you want to continue on, I've got to say, I went to Birmingham University, there are many, many nightclubs in Birmingham that I can recommend. So I'm not going to promote it, but if you want to, come and speak to me and I'll tell you where they are.
Great. So tell us a little bit about the payment scenario. So tell us about that. And if you could just tell us a little bit about how people are going to communicate, you know, what we were talking about earlier.
Okay, so what I've done is that the payment details for the actual Team Dinner is actually on the Team Aquila website and the Team Dragon website. Once you've actually paid, we're going to put you into a private Facebook group called the Aquila International Conference, #JP Birmingham 16. And from there, we're going to be able to communicate with everybody so that you can actually kind of find out what's going on. Everyone can then communicate with each other during the course of the conference. So if you want to meet for lunch, you can set up a luncheon date. When we have a wrap-up kind of convention at the end of it, where we're going to have that, who's going to be speaking, etc. And it's a way of actually kind of, as James says, locking into everybody so that we can actually get all that information. For all the international people, don't worry about sending me money. Just kind of bring some cash with you on the day, because I know it's going to cost you money to actually kind of send me some cash. So just bring some pounds or euros or whatever, and then I'm happily accept that from you. So that's exciting. I've already started the page. There are 20 odd people on it so far. We're expecting a total of 80 people for dinner. So it's very important that you get yourself booked in there if you haven't already done so. And then, the confirmation will be that you get put into the secret Facebook group, and everyone can post in there, and any questions you have, then you can actually get them answered.
Great, Gordon. And are you going to put that up on the Aquila Team Facebook page?
I'll do it straight after this, but it's actually a live group now, and all the people that have actually kind of contributed and sent the money through, the confirmation, if you like, will be that they are actually on that group. And I'll probably even do a file with a receipt, so you can have a receipt as well.
Okay, that's absolutely wonderful. So look, I've just got one final question, and James, I was going to ask this question to James Knight, but he's had to leave the call rather unexpectedly. So, Dan, are you there? Dan?
I think Dan,
Dan, the man. Good, great, Dan. So, Dan, this is a question I want to ask you, and I'm sorry I wasn't able to prepare you, but James was going to answer this, but it's kind of an interesting one. And what I want to ask you is about social media, and I want to ask you about social media with the event. And I want to ask you, how do you plan to use the event effectively in social media to impact those people that are following you on social media? So what are you going to be doing during the event to impact those people that are following you on social media?
Okay, cool. Well, the first thing I'll be doing is making sure that I get a photo with all of the healthcare professionals, especially Dr. Mitra Ray, because a lot of my Facebook friends know that I'm a T30 guy and passionate about Transform 30. So I'll be getting pictures with them, and then I'll be posting about having access to such great mentors and a little bit about that. I'll obviously be concentrating on the fun element of the business. I'll be making lots of short little videos, keeping the videos down to like 15 seconds so that they're perfect Instagram. And just showing people the energy and the buzz and the positivity that's going to be in the room. Obviously, we all know that the company are going to have a few surprises for us. I mean, the pictures that I posted last time in Brighton of me on the Dodgems with loads of beautiful women, that got a lot of interest as well, because that's just really cool. And then just photos with your team and photos with sidelines as well, and just really getting across the fun that we're having, and the two lessons that are on offer: how to eat clean and how to make a profit.
Fantastic.
And that's all I'll be doing. Yeah.
Okay, Dan. No, that's all. I mean, that's fantastic what you've just told us. I mean, I think I've just written reams of notes there. So So that is really, really good. So what we've covered here, everyone, is, so let's just finish now. What we've covered the buzz and the energy of the conference. We've looked at the agenda, which is very, very exciting. And that, Gordon, where is the agenda posted at the moment?
It should be on Aquila. It should be on Team Dragon, I'm sure.
It's on Team Dragon, back down a bit.
Okay, so it's already on there. So you can review the agenda now. And you can print it off as you wish or whatever, but you can see all that, and it's all on the Facebook pages. Sue told us great information about arriving at the conference, getting there early. The registration's opening at 10:30. Gordon talked about the hidden elements, about going there as a teacher rather than a pupil, and then I spoke about making sure that you network with everybody, introduce people around you, because those people are the real key for the learning, not just so much from the stage. Michelle talked about having water with us and nibbles and things like that to keep us going. And then Gordon told us about the team dinner. Now, the really, really important thing with the team dinner is that we get the money into Gordon so that we can all get onto the Facebook page in advance. So that's kind of the way we wanted to do it, just to make sure that everybody gets their money in advance for the ticket. It's £20 a head, subsidised by Gordon and I, and Michelle and Bob and Sue. And that includes a two-course dinner plus also a half bottle of wine. So I think it's very, very good value. And then Dan just told us about the social media. So I think we are so well prepared for this conference now. I really, really look forward to seeing everyone. It's the highlight of the year, really, when we all get together like this. And, it is the most unusual and most extraordinary situation where 3,000 people are traveling to be together completely voluntarily. And loving every minute of it. No one looking at the watch and thinking, oh, I can't wait to get home. I mean, we'll all be thinking, oh, I don't want to go home, because it's such an amazing environment. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. We really, really look forward to seeing you. We're just going to have an amazing time. And thank you very much for joining us this evening. This is being recorded, and we'll post this up very shortly. Okay, so just let's open it up now. Since there aren't a huge number of people on the call tonight, we're about 27. Normally, we're often about 60 or 70. Does anyone have any questions that you would like to ask just before we finish? So is there anyone wants to ask anything pressing that you want to ask? Or if we've covered everything, that's fine. But just want to give anyone the opportunity to ask a question. Okay, I'm looking at the chat. Okay, all right, everyone. Well, thank you. Look forward to seeing you in just a few days. The excitement is building all the time. And as I say, we're recording this and we will post it very shortly. So have a great evening and see you in a few days' time. Thank you and good night. Bye for now.
Thank you, James.
Bye. Bye. Bye.